Hi everyone, this is Laura Campen and these are my peeps. So I have my bachelor's degree in early childhood education in 2016. I'm getting my master's currently and I'm a teacher and I have one sister, Sarah, and I speak English. I'm from Roswell, Georgia, and I was born in 1994. So I'm going to start with my mom's side of the family first. The information that I was getting about my grandparents and great-grandparents are from my mom because all of my grandparents on my mom's side and dad's side are no longer alive. So my mom is a retired teacher of 33 years. She got her bachelor's and master's from the University of Alabama in early childhood education, and she has one brother, Uncle Dean, and she is originally from Coleman, Alabama, but my dad and her moved over to Atlanta about 30 years ago because of, job reasons after they were married, and speaks English, and her birthday is November 9th, 1957. My grandparents are Ruth Stisher and Wayne Stisher, and my grandmother's maiden name is Dean. She got her bachelor's degree from the University of Montevallo in social work and was a social worker for just a few years before she became a sixth grade teacher. And she had one sister and spoke English and is originally from Blount County, Hayden, Alabama, and her birthday is August 22nd, 1924. My grandfather had a degree from Birmingham Southern. Originally, after high school, he entered the World War II, served in World War II, but then after he finished the war, he went to college for, telephone management or something. Not exactly sure, but he worked for a company called Bell System as a manager for the telephone company, but then it's what the company we know today as AT&T. And so he has one sister who's still alive, but his two brothers have passed away. His one brother died when he was very little, and the other brother died just a few years ago and speaks English. And we weren't sure if he was originally born in Coleman, Alabama or Tennessee. And so his birthday is in March 26th, 1924. So my grandma's parents were Dovey Dean and Grady Dean, and Dovey Dean, her maiden name is Williamson, and so she had a high school degree, as well as my great-grandfather Grady had a high school degree, and they went to the same school, and that's how they ended up meeting each other. And so she was born July 20th, 1903, and she worked on a farm most of her life, just helping out, and as well as helping out with the family. And she has 7 siblings, is from Columbus, Mississippi, and speaks English. And my great-grandfather Grady was a farmer, and he had one sibling, but they died when they were 2 years old, and so he was born October 3rd, 1901, and not exactly sure his birthplace, maybe Hayden, Alabama, and spoke English. My grandfather's parents, my great-grandparents, are Kitty Stisher and John Manuel Stisher. Kitty Stisher, her maiden name was Jenkins, and had a high school degree, but had different odd jobs, worked at a fabric store, on the farm, just kind of helped out, obviously helping in the home, and had one sister and then one brother that died when they were in their early 20s, and is from Manchester, Tennessee originally, but then moved to Alabama, and was born September 4th, 1898, and spoke English. John Manuel Stisher had an 8th grade education and grew up very poor. He was a farmer for a little while, also worked at a chicken factory, and we weren't sure, but I think we had 7 or 8 siblings there, but we do know that it was one girl and the rest were boys, so lots of boys there. And then the birthplace was unknown, somewhere in Alabama, and spoke English. So now for my dad's side of the family. My dad is originally from Peoria, Illinois, and he was born in Pekin, which is very close. He grew up in a small town called Bartonville, Illinois. So he got his bachelor's degree in accounting from the Illinois State University and then moved to Alabama to get his MBA from the University of Alabama, and is currently a financial analyst, has one sister who still lives in Illinois, and speaks English, and his birthday is April 20th, 1958. So my grandparents are Alberta Campen and Harry Campen. And Alberta Campen, her maiden name is Graffelman, which is of German heritage. Pretty much all my dad's side is German, and we see my great-great-grandparents came from Germany. But anyway, she has a high school, or had a high school degree, and she didn't actually go to college, but she went to Brown's Business School and just took some classes to learn a little bit about accounting. So before she got married, she worked at Sears and Caterpillar in their accounting department, and at one point worked with my grandpa at Caterpillar. But she had 2 brothers, and was from Glassford, Illinois when she was born, but moved very frequently just because her parents did not have that much money and she was poor, so they moved from place to place. She spoke English, and she actually has the same birthday as my sister, June 20th, 1929, so that's very cool. And my grandpa, I didn't really know very well. He died when I was 1 year old, but he had a high school degree, and then again, he graduated high school, went to World War II, and served, and then he waited to get a degree from Bradley University, but he went on the GI Bill, which helped to pay for his college, and got his degree in engineering, and then worked at Caterpillar for 35 years as an engineer. He was born in Illinois, Peoria, and had 2 sisters that were twins, and he was born May 11th, 1925. And he spoke English. So as far as my great-grandparents, my grandma's parents, her name was Rika Graffelman is what she went by, but her actual German name was Fredrika, and then my grandpa, his name was John Graffelman, but again, his German name was Johann, and he Americanized it to John. So my grandmother, Rika, had 4 siblings. She almost made it to the 8th grade, but didn't actually complete it. Did not really have an occupation, could not drive or anything like that. And she spoke German as well as English. So she spoke 2 languages and was born March 13th, 1901, in a rural area of Peoria, Illinois. And Johann, again, like I said, they moved quite frequently, and so he didn't actually own land, but he would help work on people's farms or rent land to farm. And then in the 50s, he worked loading pet food into bags and was a bus driver and also a janitor, so worked up to pretty much when he passed away. And so they were moving all the time, had 5 or so siblings, about an 8th grade education, and was born either in Hoopeston or Peoria, Illinois, we weren't exactly sure, and spoke German and English as well, and was born March 12th, 1900. Ruby Campen is my great-grandmother, and her maiden name was Pribble, and Inno Claude Campen is my great-grandfather. Ruby did not have really much of an education. My dad was not sure, but didn't ever have a job, just helped out with the family. Had 3 siblings, spoke English, and was born March 16th, 1904 in Mapleton, Illinois. Inno Claude Campen went to grade school, but had a mechanical shop, and so for a little bit he worked at Ford in Detroit, and then worked at Caterpillar, which is in Peoria, Illinois, and also spoke German and English, and was born September 15th, 1897 in Peoria. So the only great-great-grandparents that I do know about are Gesina Campen and Whitman Campen, and they were both born in northern Germany, and then moved from Germany in 1895 to the United States. And the reason they moved to Illinois is because they thought it reminded them of northern Germany. But they were the ones that owned a bakery when they came to Illinois and didn't have much of an education, but was born, spoke German, and so they came over here. So I hope you enjoyed.